Welcome to Jimmy Snow Has a Podcast for September 20th. Today marks 45 days of the election. We're here to talk about the polls, the politics, and other things happening in the news. Israel has launched a strike in Lebanon. Iran attempted to interfere in the election. And can I finally get a good reason to believe in God? We're going to check Threads to find out. Comment if you want to leave. Oh, that was supposed to come later. This episode is brought to you by the wonderful people at Patreon. Patreon.com/Jimmy Snow. Patrons get the show always ad-free, plus the extended episode after the show, where we play little games and have a little fun with whoever our guest of the day was. If you'd like to give some ideas, this podcast is still in its infancy. And you can always leave a comment on the places that accept comments, which I think would be like YouTube and now Spotify. I guess Spotify added comments, which I feel is a mistake. I don't think we need more comment sections, but you can do it if you want to do it. Also, alternatively, you can call and leave a voicemail with whatever you want to, with a suggestion, to berate me, to present an argument, something that you think warrants a reply or a correction. For example, by calling 1-833-SNOW-POD, 833-766-9763. SNOW-POD. I know. Brilliant. This podcast is leftist, it's godless, it's dairy and bullshit free, just like me. And joining me today is my second in command at The Line Media Group. She's the head producer at The Line, and occasionally she even hosts shows like Takis and The Sunday Show. She also spends her free time watching snakes make love. It's Arden Hart. Hi, Arden.
Hey, I love
What's
watching
up?
snakes have sex. Beautiful. Oh, shit. Is it too early to say a word like that?
No. I don't think anything matters anymore.
Okay.
Donald Trump was the president and made it that we were allowed to say the word shit on the news. Did you notice they actually do take advantage of that? Not just in repeating quotes anymore. Like someone will be up on CNN and just be like, that's, and you can see them evaluating whether or not, am I allowed to, that's bullshit is what it is. It's bullshit.
Right.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty good stuff. I never stopped. I imagine I was never invited onto a program like Fox News by Hannity because I do feel like I have one of those channels that usually they target people like me. Like, we're going to bring this guy on and embarrass him. But I can only assume that they actually recognize I'm pretty undefeatable. That's why so many Christians are afraid to call when they get in the comment section and they're like, you guys arguing about God, you're so wrong about this, this, and this. It's like, when are you going to call? When are you going to call in and talk to us? Because that's what we do over on The Line. What do you like most about the things you do over on The Line?
I mean, I love that I get to be creative all the time. I also love being a part of the whole production process is really fun for me. I like to get to be a part of like bringing these awesome hosts to the audience and like getting to be a part of all the little inside jokes in the backstage of like the things that go on.
I really thought you'd have a funny answer. Instead, this is sounding like a job interview.
Oh, no. I mean, I sincerely like really love my job. So
what news is on your mind right now? Anything sticking in there that is living rent free? Don't worry, I won't make you do all of the work just before we get into our own news stuff.
I mean, not to be redundant, because I feel like it's in the news past a week, it's old news, but the whole Haitian immigrants thing is still just...
They're eating the dogs.
Yeah.
They're transing the dogs. They are putting dogs into a kennel where they are forcing them to have transgender surgery in the kennels. And they, you take your dog to a nice doggy daycare and you think, oh, Jimmy the dog, I love you so much. And then you come back a few days later and they have transed the dog. It is terrible.
Jimmy, I love you so much.
I get a lot of use out of that. Frankly, they are transing the dogs.
So are the dogs becoming cats or are they becoming female dogs?
They're becoming Haitians. They thought they were black Haitians, dogs.
Right.
They said they were black dogs. And then I guess they decided one day to be Asian dogs. Some days they are Indian dogs. And now they are coming out. They're saying, here are our new Haitian dogs. And because they are Haitian dogs, the Haitian dogs are eating other dogs. Frankly, Republican dogs. Good working Republican dogs are getting eaten by the Haitian dogs. Frankly, I just let it go. Sometimes I just let him take me over.
It's understandable. I think that's what Donald Trump does too. Sometimes he just lets that part of him take over and Just like,
Yes.
I'm just going to watch it unfold. I don't really know how it's going to go, but I'm going to be along for the ride.
I let Donald Trump inside. He filled me like a puppet. I'm sorry, everybody. Have you seen the news related to the polling for Ted Cruz in our lovely state of Texas?
Last I saw, they were in like pretty much a dead heat. Is Colin taking a lead or?
Colin, for the very first time, this according to Newsweek yesterday, has taken the lead. Ted Cruz is now losing in the U.S. Senate race, according to new polling. This from Newsweek. The survey conducted by Morning Consult between September 9th and 18th showed Allred 1 point ahead of Cruz on 45% to his 44% among 2,716 likely voters. Now, look, that is within the margin of error, but so is every lead he has had while they've been polling.
Right.
It could literally happen. Texas, do not let me down. Abortion's on the ballot. We really need. Now, unfortunately, it's not literally. As far as I know, I don't think we have any abortion ballot initiatives. Do we this time? I don't think so. Yeah, it sucks. It sucks that we don't. But on the bright side, and I'm Mr. Brightside.
Right. But Colin has pointed out there is like a lot of just being on the Senate involves you so much in the state politics that even if it's not like an abortion measure, there's a lot that he can do to like affect abortion rights in the state. So it still is functionally on the ballot for Texans. You should treat it like it is.
Can you imagine if Texas flipped? Because remember, she right now is guaranteed basically 226 votes in the Electoral College. What's Texas worth? 40, I think?
Yeah, something like that.
So that would mean 266 votes. She would only need 4 more votes to win. And out of all of the competitive states then that are left, I have a feeling she's going to win at least one. And that even includes Wisconsin, which I don't know that that's much of a swing state anymore. I think she might have that one in the bag. Yeah. Or what if the upset of the night is actually he wins every swing state, but she flips Texas and Florida? What if that was the big surprise of the night? Because a lot of women in both of those states, and Florida does have abortion as a ballot initiative. Yep. And so while the polling might look one way, even sometimes solidly, remember, Kansas is solidly Republican. And guess who showed up for the abortion vote? I'm just saying, there's a chance. So
Absolutely.
You're saying there's a chance.
And also, it's worth mentioning, people don't realize often that, like, if we get Texas and Florida purple, like, even if we don't win, but we, narrow it to, like, they won by, like, a half a point or something like that, that forces the Republicans to then spend money that they could be spending in Pennsylvania, that they could be spending, across the whole Rust Belt, back into Texas and Florida. That weakens them significantly, even just to close the gap. So, like, get out and vote, even if you're in a deadlocked red state. It is so worth your time.
Vote for Harris, dum-dums. Get the fuck out and do what is obviously the right move. I'm heartened that she is maintaining her lead of roughly 3 points. It grew a little bit ever since the debate. It's been going up just a little bit.
Yep.
But not very, very much is the
still closer than is comfortable, or it's so hard to believe that it could possibly be close, but yeah, it is, unfortunately. Yeah.
Stop edging us, you two. One of you just fucking make it obvious. I'm sitting here though going, I've decided my little pet scenario is what's going to happen. It's as likely as any of the others. Actually, it's polling a little more likely than some of the others right now. But have I told you my little pet scenario yet?
I don't know. I don't know what you're going to say.
So essentially the way it would work is Donald Trump wins, what is the exact setup here? It's that, right? Yes. Okay. So the scenario will be, I think I'm going to make a video about this. It's showing exactly how it would break down and what the pollings are showing. But essentially Harris would win Nevada, Arizona, Minnesota, Wisconsin, Michigan. Minnesota is not really going to be a swing state in this one, but we'll just say that it is. But then also she will have the second congressional district, or is it the first one in Maine? The one where they give half to, I think it's half to the state and half to the 2 districts. So the districts each get to give out one. Sometimes that one goes red, but right now it's polling pretty good in her favor. So she would get that. Then Donald Trump gets Georgia, North Carolina, Pennsylvania. And the result is 269 to 269, an actual tie, which means, in short, and if you want to know the full breakdown of how this would happen, but what would most likely happen in that scenario, it goes to Congress, the House picks the president, the vice president's picked by the Senate. And funny enough, the most likely outcome, if that is what happens, even based on an incoming Senate that might have a slight adjust, maybe Republicans get a slim majority, the most likely outcome in that scenario is the president will be Donald Trump and the vice president will be Tim Walz. How fucking unprecedented and crazy is it that is very much in play right now?
Yeah, that feels like such a weird scenario. I can't even imagine. Like, I can't even wrap my head around like how Donald Trump would interact with that, because especially after the Supreme Court, you can't punish a president for things they do while in office or whatever.
Yeah.
I just can't even imagine what actions he would take in response to that scenario. Like, it is like actual nightmare fuel.
I think we should congratulate him, if that is the victory he wins, with a unlimited gift card to KFC. And it only works on the deep fried and double deep fried items, though. But unlimited will foot the bill however much he needs. And just you have to use it every day, though, to keep it active.
Clog those arteries.
I'm just saying, in 2024, I'm voting for Harris, and in 2025, I might be voting for cholesterol. I hope that some weird thing happens. Let's just say he's impeached in that period of time, which, by the way, and I won't even pretend I don't think they might just try whatever would work. But can you imagine if he got in, how hard they're going to try to impeach him if Tim Walz is the vice president? Like, how hard? Now, that maybe they wouldn't, because they would see that as too aggressive unless he did something blatantly horrible. Or would he see the fact that he could blame it on the fact that Tim Walz would become president as a sort of immunity to go even crazier, to go even further and be like, well, I'm going to go out and I am going to actually start shooting people on the street and not lose any votes, like I said. And frankly, I will just blame it on, this is a total witch hunt because they want to put Tim Walz, and you need your freedoms. You got to have your freedoms. They're trying to piss away the Constitution like I said I was going to do. And frankly, we have got to take back our country. And then Tim Walz would be in a lot of danger. So anyway, I've decided that what is going to happen is, if he wins, I think Harris is going to win. To tell you the truth, I do legitimately believe Harris will win, but I don't want anyone to feel comfort in that, because you know what? I also believed Hillary was going to win. Now, yeah. I also believed Biden was going to win. I was right on that one. I believed Obama was going to win both times, even though against Mitt Romney, you had all these pollsters saying like it's going to be a big time loss and Romney's going to win. I called those elections, but I was only correct about the popular vote when it came to Hillary versus Trump. And so don't take comfort in it. Looks like Harris has this in the bag. You got to go vote. And not only do you got to go vote, you got to bully your friends into voting, except for the ones who are going to vote wrong. Because I am not everyone. It's so important that everybody vote. It's so important. If I could hit a button and everybody would vote, I would hit it, because then Harris would win, right? Larger turnout means Democrats win. So I would press that button. But right now, it's about voter motivation of the actual bases that could vote on that day. And I'm here to say, if you're voting for Harris, vote. And if you're voting for Republicans, maybe I have some special brownies, totally not full of laxatives, to give you the morning of as a celebration. We'll go to the polls together.
Yeah, because short of like a complete domination victory, like there's going to be even a Harris win isn't going to be a simple win with Donald Trump. Like it's going to be a months-long scenario. So I definitely, yes. You need to get registered to vote. You need to have massive turnout. Like please. The alternate slate of electors thing, they'll try that a lot harder this next time. Like there's going to be just absolute fuckery afoot. Now that said, I don't think it will succeed. I don't think that the government would allow him to succeed. And the fun thing is, what he's been protected of last time, because he was technically still president, he's not president. Right. If he just does the exact same stuff he did last time, even according to the Supreme Court's ruling, this time, there will be things that are the exact same actions that he would be held accountable. He wouldn't just be like
unnamed conspirator number 2. We're not going to say who it was, but he was president of the United States. Now, that could be anybody, people. Who are we talking about? Frankly, I am not co-conspirator number 2. I am always number 1. Conspirator number 1.
That would be his argument, too. His defense.
Who they say? Michael Cohen is number 1. Never been number 1 in his life. He is a terrible lawyer. He is a bad man. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Can you imagine?
No. I can because we've lived through it. And I honestly wouldn't be surprised for it to go that way. But
first of all, did we live through it? Is living through it, does it just only mean you were alive at the end of it? Did it shorten our lifespans? The stress, the bad decisions about our air, pollution, the deregulation of things, like, are we going to die sooner because he was president? And also, do we actually know we even lived through it? You and I are not spiritual people.
Is this all just...
I cannot debunk that I died the day he won the last election, and I've been in hell since then.
It's actually only 30 seconds after the election, and everything that's happened since has just been a manifestation of your dying brain.
In hell. Yeah. Wow. I hate that. I just, even the idea, but it's supposed to be DMT that's flooding your brain. Give me my little
something
fix.
Fun, at least. Yeah.
DMT daddy. Jesus. That's what the D in DMT stands for. Right? Daddy magic. Something. Daddy magic time. You ready to play upvote, downvote?
I'm so fucking ready.
There's only a few today.
I feel like I'm going to look foolish, but I'm ready.
I'm going to be honest. A lot of the headlines were either too boring to include in this, or I also was just thinking, like, are we really going to talk about? Let me just pull up some of the most recent headlines and tell you, share with you why this just wouldn't have worked. Like the things that are topped right now.
Okay.
Doctors Without Borders forced to leave Russia. Yeah, let's talk about that. Arden, I'm going to give you 6 uninterrupted minutes to talk about how you feel about that situation. Go.
Listen, there are actually people in Russia who probably need care that Russia's not giving them, but also...
I will say I was wrong in a previous episode when I saw a number. Now, I actually think the number was still higher than this, but I did not know that Russia has lost 70,000 people as a result of this war.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
More than the Ukrainians have lost. Like, first of all, how do you keep allowing Putin to have power when he literally is like, why send robots when we can send man I give no shit about?
Yeah, I mean, that's literally because he views his people as disposable tools to his ends, which is
pawns. What about this one? Chechen warlord accuses Elon Musk of remotely disabling his Cybertruck. That one could have made it in, actually. That one's pretty good.
that's I had never not heard that headline, but that's really funny.
What would I have made that one? So for those who don't know, upvote, downvote is where I give an unnuanced, reduced version of a headline, and she is going to upvote or downvote it. It's giving the story her approval or disapproval. And that's what happens. And what would I have made? Chechen warlord accuses Elon Musk. Now, wait, is it the one guy from Chechnya with the missing cat? No, it's not. I don't think. Is it? Is it the guy? Do you remember him? Is this your cat guy from
I don't
John
remember
Oliver's
that
thing?
At all. No.
Oh, all right. He outfitted it with a mounted machine gun in the back of it. That's what happened. Just a reminder that awesome. This is a podcast and not a video everywhere. So laugh louder or.
Oh, sorry. No, I think I'm honestly thrilled that his Cybertruck crashed. His fucking low polygon ass looking N64 truck fucking.
Well, but it sounds like Elon Musk actually did a good thing here in that he actually disabled the truck.
Oh, he actually did it. I thought it was just an accusation. Okay.
Oh, yeah. I don't know whether or not. Let's see. Chechen warlord. This is according to CNN. Is accused CEO Elon Musk of remotely disabling a Cybertruck, which had been sent to the front line of Russia's war in Ukraine. Kadyrov claimed Thursday that the vehicle, which he said had been outfitted with a machine gun and was performing well in combat, had been shut down, adding Friday that he sent 2 additional Cybertrucks to the front line. The warlord, known for his loyalty to Russian... I think it is that guy. I think it is the guy who lost his cat. Anyway...
okay. In that case, that feels like it's totally justified to be like... I mean, Well, okay, wait. This truck was fighting for the Ukrainians?
Apparently, wait. It
So
almost
weird.
looks like from his Musk, however, firmly denied sending it, saying, "Are you seriously so R-word? Thank you." Elon has apparently become an R-slur Twitter person. That you think I donated a Cybertruck to a Russian general, he wrote on X, because it sounds like the guy was saying that it was actually a gift. I don't know, whatever. That one actually would have been a funny news story. Anyway, here's I'm going to give you headline number 1. I bet you know it.
Okay.
Black Nazi loves trans porn.
Oh, fucking upvote just for the lulz. Yeah.
Well, but we should downvote the scenario, right? I don't know when it's right to upvote or downvote. It's kind of like...
This story pisses me off because this man has literally been in the public eye saying LGBT people as a whole, and like particularly trans people, are filth. He used the word filth. That wasn't a deal breaker. But when he talks about how much he loves Teesler porn on this fucking forum, whatever it is, I don't know what.
We should introduce who we're talking about. So this is Republican Mark Robinson, currently the lieutenant governor of North Carolina and running for governor of North Carolina, endorsed by Donald Trump, not just endorsed, swooned by Donald Trump. This is the guy that Donald Trump goes, I think that he is like MLK, but a lot better, like so much better. I remember covering it back on the Sometime Show when it happened, so much better. And then like covering things he had said. It's like, MLK times 2, which is funny because this guy has actually called MLK. I don't remember what the exact words were, but it was some sort of like really dehumanizing thing. So this guy hates him, has claimed to be a black Nazi. This from the Daily Beast. North Carolina's race for governor was thrown into chaos Thursday after a report alleged its GOP nominee once posted of his affinity for transgender porn, his pro-slavery beliefs, and described himself as a black Nazi. But the best part for me is that these were all on like pornographic forums, like porn comment sections and stuff. It's pretty funny.
It is so weird. I'm like, I don't know what porn site involves you getting like where he's like slavery wasn't that bad. I would like to own slaves or whatever. Like what porn site are you saying that on? That is so strange.
And you do realize that if they brought slavery back in the form it was before, you'll definitely be a part of the practice. Just I don't know what you mean by you're going to own some slaves.
I know. Like this is such a classic example of somebody who's being a pick-me and thinking that means when things go bad that they're going to be on the like the controlling side, and it's like you don't realize that you are part of like the marginalized people. You are on the bottom of the totem pole. They will step on you when they have the opportunity to.
The exact quote was, "Slavery is not bad. Some people need to be slaves. I wish they would bring it back. I would certainly buy a few." And then and by the way, he's tried to deny that these are salacious tabloid rumors. It wasn't me, but they were able to confirm many things about the email account associated with that, these accounts being active otherwise. And in some of the places where his location was marked, it was marked to his local area. And so it's, anyway, he also said he was a black Nazi. And then he goes, "I love watching Teesler on girl porn." He wrote, what's funny is there's like, how there are certain things that are not progressive, but they're almost like on the way to a progressive idea. Like, do you remember when Andrew Tate had his little rant about like, you guys are being so closed. You guys are being so stupid when you're saying you would fuck a trans man who looked like a 10 or a 1, but not a trans girl who looked like a 10. He's like, and here's what I'm explaining. I'm saying Hulk Hogan with a vagina or Megan Fox with a dick. And he's like, I'm picking Megan Fox. Picking Hulk Hogan's gay. I'm picking Megan Fox. You can move that thing around and still mess her up. And you're like, there's a lot of messed up stuff in what you're saying. But it is weird that you're like scratching the surface of you're almost getting there. You're not far, but where you are is still a massive wall. And this is the funny thing, because he wrote, "That's fucking hot. It takes the man out while leaving the man in. And yeah, I'm a perv too." And I'm just like, so you're actually acknowledging in the first half that you like trans porn because there's something you like about the anatomy that you want to retain, but you don't want to feel like you're looking at a man. You can feel like you're looking at a woman. Half of you acknowledges that they are women. It's It's you're so close. You're edging. You're edging close to trans rights.
Right. It's just, I don't know. It's just infuriating to me that it's like, man, like dehumanizing us, calling us filth, being like that should be a deal breaker. Most people should be like, wow, that kind of language, that's like fascist rhetoric. That's pretty disgusting to talk about an entire group of people as filth.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, but he says he likes to watch porn of those people. Well, that is a stretch. That is a step too far.
Yeah.
It's just, very, very frustrating. But also, as somebody who used to be in that line of work, it is not surprising to me at all. Like 99% of your customers are this fucking guy right here. Yeah,
literally that guy. Arden,
probably literally him.
Arden sold many things to this guy under different usernames. But he always would send the same picture. It's just him holding a bucket of KFC with Donald Trump. He's got the big thumbs up. It's every one of them. And yet he's got so many usernames. Like, you're really bad at hiding yourself. And like, he was always holding a sign that was like, I'm not hacked. I'm really into this. But anyway, you should know he says he was hacked.
Right.
Here's the next headline. Best ever kind of blows at thing it claims to be the best at. Upvote, downvote.
Best ever claims to be the best. Wait.
Best ever kind of blows at thing it claims to be the best at.
Oh,
best
God.
ever kind of blows at thing it claims to be the best at. Best ever kind of blows at thing it claims. Yeah, that's probably right. This is according to an article today in CNN Health. The U.S. spends more on healthcare than any high-income country, but a new report, this was from the Commonwealth Fund, actually shows that Americans are sicker, die younger, and struggle to afford essential healthcare. This directly from the article. Compared with 9 other high-income nations, the United States ranked last overall this year with a lower life expectancy and higher rate of death and disease, despite spending the most on healthcare, according to the report that, again, released by the Commonwealth Fund. Anyway, I want the American healthcare to stay private because we have the best. How come the people come here when they want the best healthcare? It turns out nobody checked on that and they stopped coming here a while back. They aren't all coming here anymore. They're going to a lot of other places. It's not, America is no longer the beacon on the hill, but it might be for literally billionaires and millionaires, right? If you're a billionaire or a millionaire, maybe it still is. Maybe that tiny group of people are getting the best healthcare in the world, but that doesn't mean the country is getting it. It means Bob is. Bob and Elon and Jeff and Mark and what other white penises? Even Mark, the other Mark where you're like, of the Mark billionaires, you're kind of chill, but all billionaires are evil. So I'd still feed you to a pig and then eat the pig. But metaphorically, of course, calm your tits. Am I allowed to say calm your tits? I don't mean on the platform. I mean, in general. Am I allowed? No, I wasn't
out of
saying
control.
I wasn't saying it to you. My tits are out of control. I'm in this weird spot where I'm losing weight and I've been rowing. And so it's like the distribution is, I'm like, I like that I've lost so much weight, but I'm like, I feel like the shape of my tits is worse than when I was 50 pounds heavier earlier this year. I'm I'm waiting for it to get down, but I know I'm wrong. It's just some dysmorphia stuff.
Sure.
Whatever. It's a problem. It's been my whole life. And the next one, here's your new headline.
Hey,
everything about this is going to be horrible. Please just downvote it now. I like you too much as a friend to set you up to potentially upvote this.
Okay. I'll keep that in mind.
Go ahead. That's your headline. That was it.
Oh. Yeah, okay, downvote.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. 27-year-old Nebraska man who posed as a high schooler sentenced to at least 85 years for sex crimes.
Come on, man. What the fuck?
This is the fucking there's so many elements to it. And just in general, the idea that a 27-year-old posed as like a 16 or 17-year-old for months and got away with it. This from NBC News. A 27-year-old Nebraska man who posed as someone a decade younger and attended high school for more than 50 days. Okay, months was a bit of a stretch. Was sentenced to at least 85 years in prison in connection with sex crimes, court documents show. The guy's name was Zachary Skeich. I don't know how to pronounce it, but I want to shame this person to no end. Yeah. Last week, after he pleaded no contest in July to first-degree sexual assault, attempted first-degree sexual assault, generation of child pornography, age 19 or over, and child enticement with electronic communication, according to a sentencing order and a plea agreement. Listen, I have to correct something I've said. In the past, I have said there is no good reason to have guns in the school. I was wrong. This would have been a time I wish there was a gun in the school.
Would have been the one exception. Yeah, that's fucking awful, disgusting. How is somebody able to? They said he attended the school for 50 days.
Yeah, so he had forged a bunch of documents. He had a friend whose trial actually is tomorrow. I think maybe the verdict comes in tomorrow. As I recall, was 26 years old. Is that included in my notes here? 27 years old. He's 27 years old. He got a 23-year-old woman to play his mother, and he was supposed to be 16 or 17. And I got to tell you, if you look at this guy, we're not going to put it on the screen because the people on the podcast end wouldn't be able to enjoy it anyway. Enjoy it was a weird word choice there, right?
A little bit.
That was
maybe,
strange.
Maybe not.
I think you mean enjoy the benefit of being of being able to see. Let me see if the photo is easy to find, though.
Just answer this question. Does he look like how you'd expect he'd look?
No, he looks 26 years old. I was like, I'm not sure. I don't look younger than this man. You know, I mean, not literally. I don't look younger than this man. I guess let me send you two photos and you can just react to them live. Because I'm like, how did he get away with this? Oh, right. I'm not.
Are you sending it on Messenger or
send it on Facebook? I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
That's usually where we communicate. Though, if this asks me to do a single additional step, it might be through Discord. But yeah, we're gonna go through Discord.
I just don't know where to check because I have my phone on Do Not Disturb.
Well, that is a professional thing to do.
Yes, thank you. I wanted to be praised. I appreciate it.
But I'm like, even the photo where you see his mugshot, you're like, how did anybody believe that this guy from his mugshot? What? No red flags until I think it was that. I don't know all the details, and I think we're not supposed to know all of the details because I think it might make us sad or creeped out. But I believe it was figured out by a kid who then reported it to their parents, and the parents reported that this was a problem, and then the police investigated. So I sent you his mugshot, and then I sent you the picture of him yesterday in the courtroom. Or might have even been today.
Yeah, I don't know how this man possibly could have been in a high school for more than like an hour and not been sussed out. Like,
yeah,
I drove by the UT Austin a few, like, I don't know, maybe like 6 months ago or so. And I remember being like shocked at like, wow, college kids look young to me now. That's kind of wild. Like they look like little babies. This man doesn't look like a baby to me. So that's fucking...
I will say everything caught me off guard about him too, because I have a sort of like, I guess just a biased image, and I feel like everyone's going to let it go that I got to tell you guys, I have a little bit of a bigotry toward pedophiles. I'm sorry about the just knowing they're pedophiles. I'm a little bigoted, and I usually expect them to look
as you should.
I tend to expect them to just be like, this is a good looking dude. Like he didn't have to be no one has to be a pedophile, but it's surprising. It's kind of like how every time you hear like, oh, after 2 years, a teacher was found with, and you can already kind of visualize the teacher and the student, and they always fit the same like strange mold. It's kind of like that. This guy breaks the mold. It's weird.
I also am absolutely repulsed by this woman who apparently you're saying like helped him do this. Like that's,
I know she pled not guilty, and I don't know if like I could come up with a scenario like he said he was making a documentary and none of this, like I don't know how involved she was in the plot for him to fuck kids. But you know,
I mean I feel like at the very least, there has to be some degree of culpability there, even if it wasn't like intentional. Like, you know, not unintentionally breaking the law is usually still a
It
crime.
may just end up being one of those things where, though, because I think she's only been charged with like some sort of impersonation, forging legal status or some sort of thing like that. So I don't think she's being held culpable for any of the sexual crimes, even if maybe she should. Please. Yeah, here's some other like top headlines right now that I couldn't turn into them. Like Japanese student 10 dies after stabbing in China. I feel just playing a game with that title would have made me look like a dick. But let's go back to the game with that title. Here's title number 3. Senior citizen reveals presence of invisible mobs.
Presence of invisible mobs?
Yes, a senior citizen has revealed the presence of invisible mobs.
Oh, wait, is this the coded one?
They're all coded.
Oh, okay. I didn't know if they had coded this headline yet. Is that like Trump talking about like crowds or something? That's my guess.
Yes. Donald Trump claimed that the audience of the debate went crazy when he was fact checked and Harris wasn't.
Yeah, right.
We'll read this from The Independent. Appearing on Wednesday's episode of Gutfeld, which is Fox News' attempt to have like one of those nightly talk shows. It's horrible. I actually, when I was a Fox News guy and libertarian years back, I actually liked Greg Gutfeld on Red Eye. And then when they brought him more into the mainstream episodes, like the 5 and stuff, he just became terribly insufferable. He used to be kind of like one of the people who you could rely on at Fox News to be like, guys, you sound like fucking idiots. And now he's like, you know who wants to sound like an idiot? Me right now. I'm just going to go with and he thinks he's so fucking funny and he's just not. Anyway, yeah, they didn't correct her once and they corrected me. Everything I said, practically, I think 9 times or 11 times. And then Trump refers to his non-existent audience, and the audacity was absolutely, they went crazy. The audience, sorry, not the audacity. He doesn't know the word audacity. What am I saying? And the audience was absolutely, they went crazy. They went crazy. By the way, if people are watching the video and there's any like stuttering of video on this episode, I don't know how to fix it. It's a weird thing that's been happening recently. So this is a podcast anyway. You're meant to be listening to this while you're on your way to work or pooping. So we're not going to focus too hard on the video because I like everything else this app does.
Just relax. Let those muscles move.
That's right.
Or poop ASMRing.
Imagine a river that controls your motility and you're removing rocks and obstructions from the river. This is actually what guided meditations for people with IBS. Man. That's what they actually sound like. That's not it. No joke. I've been there, done that. I think that's our last one. Did I have one more as far as the upvote, downvote? Yeah, that's pretty much it. And to tell you the truth, the news portion of this episode, we're going to get into the proof people have been sending me that God exists shortly after. Just briefly hitting these couple of things.
I don't even know. Voicemails?
No, we don't have any queued up for today. Honestly, the quality of voicemails I've been getting have all been shitty. Like, yeah. A bunch of people just calling in and they're just like, hey, love the podcast. I'm like, thanks for freaking like wasting my time. Just leave that as a comment. Use that somewhere that an algorithm can take a part of it. I don't like compliments. You all know this. And then there's like maybe a couple of people just saying things that are completely unhinged isn't quite the word. Just, I don't know what the fuck they're talking about. And it's frustrating. The whole thing's it's just not being used very well yet. So we're not responding to any voicemails. It's just I put out a post on Thread. Do you have any things you want to say? Basically, people, the other news things that we can hit briefly is Donald Trump's campaign is melting down, trying to accuse the Biden campaign and now Harris campaign of spying on them in literally the way they encouraged people to spy on the Hillary campaign back in 2016. However, all of the evidence shows that when Iran tried to hack the Trump campaign and succeeded and tried to pass that along to the Biden campaign, that those attempts were actually rejected. And yet Donald Trump is claiming because they tried to give it to them, that makes them a conspirator and is just melting down over it. I don't know.
I have not seen that one yet. No, I miss anything that happened yesterday. I think I missed because I know there was also the Oprah Kamala interview. I didn't see any of that. I figured it was going to be a lot of the same, to be honest. So
I loved that. I hated it and I loved it because on the one hand, it's so personable and is going to actually make a few more people comfortable voting. So what Arden is referring to is on an Oprah interview show thing they're doing for the web, Kamala Harris said a line somewhere along the lines of like, I own a gun. Oprah says, I didn't know that. And she goes, if you come into my house, if you try to break into my house, you're going to get shot. And then she jokes about like, I probably shouldn't have said that. That's going to be something my staff can deal with later. But it was one of those things where I'm like, okay, I get it. And I get the appeal. But at the same time, I hate that now we are even having the left, American left, we should state, lean into gun culture and sort of behave as though we love gun culture, because somebody's got to do fucking something, and that shit ain't helping. But I get it. She has to win. She has to win.
Yeah. I've had other critiques of this entire campaign from her, but I wish she would say anything about trans issues, but I also recognize that it's probably strategically not the best move, but it's like hard for trans constituents to know that she's on our side when she's like strategically dodging, like Matrix style, any questions that relate to us at all.
And then I don't even know what to say about it, because I feel like people could predict my position on the whole thing. But let's just call what actually happened in Lebanon this last week. Look, the missile strikes today, those ones are a little, at least more defensible. However, they're clearly trying to escalate to a war. They're clearly trying to. And in some ways, I think in a weird way, the timing of why they're escalating now is also hoping to affect American politics. And you can actually look at a lot of these things as endorsements of Donald Trump by Netanyahu, who is terrified of the possibility of being removed from office, because if he is removed from office, the warrants will go out. From the international community, Interpol and shit, his arrest will be imminent, possibly. They're trying to escalate to a war, and then this week, if it hadn't been Israel, if it had been virtually any other nation who didn't have a lot of whites or didn't support a lot of whites, we would call it what it is. The blowing up of these pagers and walkie-talkies in a way that intermingles with civilians, kills children, which doesn't matter to anybody anymore because, they've gotten over the tens of thousands of dead children in Gaza. But it was a terrorist attack. Israel committed a terrorist attack. That's what happened. It was a terrorist attack in Lebanon, and we're just going to pretend it's not. And we're going to look at all of the Western privilege, as people also say, well, that would have only hurt people in Hezbollah, totally ignoring things about what it even means to be, quote unquote, in Hezbollah. But also on top of that, the fact that no, it was not only people in Hezbollah, it was people in Hezbollah and people who were just standing next to people in Hezbollah, right? People who are part of what is also a political party, people being in the wrong proximity, which is why we already do know there is confirmed deaths and thousands of injuries. Just absolute. And yet they're talking about, we do the most civilian mitigation that has ever been done. And it's how can it be true? And even if it was, that just means everybody else in the past were monsters. And now we actually see it because everything is documented, because there's so many cameras. And now we see how evil we have been in the past. And by the way, we were definitely evil in the past. So it's a shitty defense. If you're like, well, it's not like this is worse than the war in Iraq. That can't be your standard. Are you kidding me? You dumbass. In that case, we're good to go.
Like, the whole point of owning our history is supposed to be that we like learn from it and we use that to inform our actions going forward so we don't repeat those same mistakes. Yeah.
But instead there are some people that are like, what if we just head toward another giant genocide and we associate it with a group who previously was genocided, so we're not going to say fucking shit about anything.
Yeah. It is so frustrating because I know Kamala's clearly trying so hard to walk a strategic line of not upsetting certain voters by how she addresses this stuff. But it's at this point, not at this point. It's been past this point for a very long time. I have no words to add to it. It's just the most reprehensible thing that has like happened in modern times. It's
too frustrating to even to give too much time to, but yeah, just so you know, America is paying for terrorism. Well done, everybody. We did it. Pay your taxes. Fund more terrorism. It sucks. Well, let's move on to a new segment. Let's call it Watch It Unravel. I'll soon be naked, referring to the Weezer thing and referring to the fact that the app is called Threads. I've posted a thread and I've posted a follow-up thread that's already gotten quite a bit of activity. So we might even go to a second one, but I've highlighted some great ones. We're here with it finally, people. You've been waiting. We should have a sound for transitioning as well. Let's see.
Be like one of those radio sounds.
We'll just cheer. Okay, here's the transition sound. Okay, that was it. Okay. Welcome to Pull This Thread As I Walk Away. Watch it unravel. I'll soon be naked. This is too long of a name for a segment.
Falling on the floor.
I come undone. We'll call it welcome to the new segment. I come undone. That actually that all works. Here's the thread. Weezer. Here's the thread I posted. I'm once again asking for one good reason to believe in God. Actually, I am begging. I'm begging you to give me your proof of God, baby. Would you like to hear some? There were so many at the time of recording. Over 908 replies.
Oh my God.
Listen, I'm not that famous, guys. That's kind of a big day for me. So I am closing in on 5,000 followers on Threads. So that's pretty exciting. That's pretty cool.
That's pretty good for Threads, yeah.
Everybody go follow me on Threads. It has nothing to do with the fact that they monetized me recently on Threads. Nothing to do with that. Don't even consider that it might be something to do with that. Okay, it's a lot to do with that, but I will make the content worthy of you seeing it and me getting money for you seeing it. That's my commitment.
Double up on it, baby. We're double dipping here.
I don't plan to stand by that commitment, but that is my commitment to you. I may abandon it many times at a time. By the way, I don't know if you saw my I want to know what your commentary on this. Do you agree with the following statement? Because I posted a clarification of it. Trans women do not owe you femininity. Trans men do not owe you masculinity. And non-binary people do not owe you androgyny. Can you think of how you would clarify that? Because I felt there was something missing.
No, I think that's exactly right. I think just in the same way that nobody owes you expressing their gender a certain way for you to treat them with fucking respect.
I think you're missing something. I added the clarification. Trans women do not owe you femininity. Trans men do not owe you masculinity. Non-binary people do not owe you androgyny. But they do all owe me $9.
Okay, yeah.
Go to patreon.com/Jimmy Snow and give me $9.
Obvious joke went right over my head, zoomed past me before I even had a chance to notice it.
What am I being set up for? It's always a setup. This is what's hard about dating me, is learning to adjusting and being able to more well predict when I'm doing a bit.
We talk all the time. I should be better at this than anyone you've dated in the last 3 years, but I am not. And it's really frustrating that I still can't sense it. I'm like, what is wrong with me?
There is a little difference between our working relationship and how it has to then affect our friendship, especially at work. There are times where I'll be like, oh my God, let me tell you this story. So, okay. This person, they're on an airplane. Wait, actually, I'll tell you when you're not on work, because this is going to get really inappropriate. So I can't tell you at work. Right. This is not a work thing. We don't want to get HR involved. We'll return to it. Anyway, the post, I am once again asking for one good reason to believe in God. Actually, I'm begging. I don't know. These are pretty good, Arden, and I'd like to hear your responses. Here's response number 1. Well, someday you're going to die and leave this world. That's a fact, and there will only be 2 options. 1, if God ain't real, you decompose and cease to exist. You lose nothing. Those who believed in Jesus lose nothing too. 2, if God is real, you'll wake up in hell to eternal torment just because you rejected God. Those who believed in Jesus will be rejoicing in heaven for eternity. Whichever way it goes, those who believe that Jesus is Lord win. That's just one reason. There are many more. I think I count 19 logical fallacies.
I didn't count logical fallacies. There were definitely several problems, though. And the first one that jumped out at me is the notion that people who, obviously he's doing some sort of Pascal's wager thing here, but the whole notion that people who believe in Jesus aren't losing anything.
Right.
No, every second you spend in the one life you have practicing Christianity is a second that you could have been spending understanding yourself better as you actually are in reality. Like you have lost the opportunity. You have lost minutes of your life, like understanding the world better because you are comfortable with this lie that you're telling yourself. I'm
excited for there's going to be some follow up. The biggest thing I dislike about it, this is my pedantry. I don't even care that these are bad arguments for God. This is a false dichotomy. Let's say God does exist. Some God exists. They said the two choices are you decompose and cease to exist, or God is real and you wake up in hell for rejecting him and not accepting Jesus. Yeah. What about all of the other God options? You just missed so many others. Also, what about a non-God option where you don't cease to exist when you die? Also, what does it mean to cease to exist? I think you just mean that your consciousness discontinues, because there's actually ways for you to maintain being alive and lose your consciousness. Go have a procedure where they give you anesthesia and experience true total time loss because you get true total lack of consciousness. You're not even dreaming if you have full anesthesia, as opposed to more sedating things. It's but I don't even care about the God part of this. It's that this actually is a presentation of nothing, and yet you're trying to, here's the two options. Your two options aren't even close to the only two options. It's not. And in fact, neither side could be considered an independent option for one. Like neither of them would be isolated. So it's like a false dichotomy filled with false dichotomies. It's just dumb.
Yeah. It's just such a lazy, like, Christian American perspective of like, the only two options are my Christian version of God and atheism. There's nothing else out there. And it's like, there's not just like, billions of people on the earth who believe in Islam. That's not a thing. Like, we won't even count that one, right?
Someone replied, ask him to make himself known to you. I know for a fact he will. A couple things that I love about this one. One, actually, I don't know the pronouns. They capitalized him and he, but not himself. I assume this is a sin. When they find out, if they listen to this, that they forgot to capitalize himself, I assume they will retract it. Second of all, do you really fucking think any atheist hasn't prayerfully requested that a God reveal themselves if they exist? Not only have I bet I know the verses by heart that you think you are referencing, and you are doing so poorly. But just to cover it, Allah, Elohim, Krishnu, let's throw Santa in the mix. A little bit of who are some of your favorite gods? Let's get Thor in there.
Yeah, get some Egyptian deities, Ra.
What's the name of the evils? Krampus. If we get Krampus in there. If any of you exist, please make yourself known. Kiyatachi says you will, and they know you will. Waiting.
Yeah. Waiting. No, that is
Wait. Whoa, wait. You know what this needs? Drum roll. And nothing. All right, moving on. So that proof didn't work. I love this one. We'll get your response to this one. 300 plus fulfilled prophecies. The mathematical possibility that Jesus could fulfill these and not be God in the flesh is 1 in 10 to the 239. To put that into perspective, compare estimated number of atoms in the observable universe is 10 to the 80th degree. Estimated number of stars in the observable universe is 10 to the 24th. Age of the universe in seconds, 10 to the 17th. Jesus has to be God in the flesh. It's irrefutable. It's researchable. It's historical. It's more than one reason, but I bet it's not enough for you. Well, it isn't, because everything you just said you pulled out of your ass.
Yeah, I was just gonna steal a line from my lovely partner Matt Dillahunty and say, did you use one hand or two hands when you pulled those numbers out of your ass? It's
so made up. This 10 to the 239. The prophecies aren't even good.
No.
Okay, 300 prophecies. All right, I'm gonna make 5 right off the top of the bat. It will rain in the world. Wars will happen. People will say wars are going to happen. People will die. And then just to go like fully bullshit, you can make this whatever you want to. The medallioned lizard will emerge from the ocean, carefully considering the waning spirits of the children of men. So now decide what that means and fulfill the prophecy. Oh, the medallion lizard obviously refers to the Japanese economy. Lizard, in the original Hebrew that Jimmy said that in, lizard could actually mean dragon. There's no different word for lizard than dragon. And so the dragon is a Japanese lore thing. And because I don't know that that's not in isolation true, that in fact it belongs to, there are dragons in many cultures, but I don't know that. And so what the medallions refer to, I feel like I still speak apologist, and it makes me want to wash myself. What did you think? Are you converted? Do you believe in God now?
No, I mean, I don't think a single number that he pulled out there, even the numbers related to reality, I mean, maybe he got some of them right, but all of that sounds completely made up to me. Like, I don't know where it sounds like something that you'd see on like a History Channel, like documentary, one of their weird woo-woo, like aliens kind of document, the guy with the crazy hair, whatever. I feel like he watched one of those documentaries and was like, oh shit, I gotta write that down. Those numbers sound so legit.
There are 10 to the 80th degree number of atoms in the observable universe. I'm Carl Sagan. This is a terrible impression.
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know. There's such a weird attempt to tie science into apologetics.
It was a good try, except for that it sucked really bad. And
really bad.
You should feel bad, and you should cry. That's all. That's all I'm trying to say, if I'm trying to say anything. Also, I like that he always used 10 to the umpth degree, because not all of them would have been 10 to the umpth degree. They all of the numbers start with a 1? All of them?
Right. Yeah, that's why I'm like, maybe someone in the comments, feel free to correct us if that is just like a weird coincidence that's how the world works, but I'm pretty sure none of those numbers were legit.
I already know that the number of stars is 200 billion trillion. So even if to the 24th is correct, wouldn't it be 20 or 2 times 10 to the 24th?
Yeah, right. Exactly.
How it's usually expressed?
It would be 2 times. Yeah.
2 times 10 to 20. Yeah. What fucking. All right. Anyway, well done. You ruined it. Some mathematician will be like, you actually ruined it further because while you're right about the main point, you got the math all wrong. Frankly, Jimmy Snow, how long has it been since you've been in a math class? What's it been, like 10 years since you've been in a math? Yeah, actually yeah. 12 years since the last time I was in a math class, I think. Anyway, here's another one. Why are you asking that question? If you want to believe in God, open-heartedly read the Gospel of John and make up your mind for yourself. I think the first time I read it open-heartedly caused a significant part of my faith crisis that ultimately led to me concluding that no, God does not exist. Certainly not the Christian God. Above all,
I mean, I read this. I went to a private Christian school for elementary school, and we were made to take Bible class every day. I think in 4th grade was when they started making us read through the Gospels and like reciting the Gospel to our teacher every week. Like we would read like a collection of verses and we'd have to like prove that we memorized the entire thing. I've forgotten like 90% of that, but that was a whole period of my life. And I by like 10, I did not believe in God anymore. So I don't know.
I always hate that kind of bragging, though. Whenever people are like, I don't think you're bragging, but I'm just like, well, isn't that just great for you that you had the option and lack of reinforcing fundamentalist community to be able to mentally evaluate? Arden is the one who drives me the crazy. I realized this was dumb when I was 8. That means you had tremendous privilege, because there are people smarter than both of us who the whole way indoctrination works.
I mean, listen, I did lose a lot of community when I stopped believing, but it was more because I was trans and because I stopped believing. Because when I stopped believing, I didn't immediately go to like, I'm an atheist, this is all bullshit. I went to a lot of like, well, there's truth in every religion and woo-woo kind of stuff for quite a long time. But I definitely lost a lot of community around that time when I left my private Christian school and kind of started to deconvert. But for sure, I don't know. It just never. I just never like really remember being like really. I remember praying, really begging God so many times for things, but I don't really ever remember being like, I'm confident God exists.
She's begging God. And where the fuck is he? We'll speed round the rest of these and wrap up here. We'll do the follow up where I basically said, so no good proofs. Not one of the reasons was actually in proof. I will say, so somebody wrote in response to that after I said, I'm once again asking, begging, blah, blah, blah. They wrote, if you're begging, God is actually trying to talk to you. Sit alone and talk to him. Ask him to give you a sign. He's knocking. Will you answer? And I wrote, so that's a no to the request, as in give a good reason. And they wrote, what did this person wrote? Someone quoted in response, it's obvious that no answer provided by a human will be satisfactory to you. Give me an answer that proves there is no God. Oh, give me an answer that proves I'm not God, dipshit. And yet you don't believe I am, and you actively believe I'm not. Belief in God is he meant to write faith. There are millions of examples that have been revealed, but it's up to each individual to believe their own. If someone can convince you that God exists, someone could also convince you that he doesn't. I love that instead of these millions of examples, I'm just going to say there are millions of examples. Yes. And guess how many I'm going to share?
It's my favorite thing that people do on internet debates where they're like, there's so many reasons. There's so much evidence of this and not bringing any of it.
Myriad. He'll start saying it in every debate. There are myriad reasons.
It's so funny. I've seen this. I mean, it happens all over the internet. Even like I've seen some lefties kind of doing this quite a lot. Not like for necessarily anything in particular, but just I see it all the time on the internet. But it's so funny when they're like, so much evidence, so many reasons.
Oh my god!
I have the best reasons.
I've got reasons. I know reasons. The best reasons. I have a concept of a reason. Okay, I've got concepts of reasons. Frankly, why are you asking us? Ask him. Call upon the name of Jesus. Ask him into your heart. Ask him to show you why you should believe. Which I love the absolute egocentric Christian. The presumption that I'm asking whether the Christian God exists. So we're not even getting just to the core. How do you know what God exists? There's no point in arguing for Christianity. Either you've encountered Jesus or you haven't. I suspect none of us have.
Right.
I love this one. So science is proved God. Albert Einstein and William James Sadis themselves were non-believers until they proved this fact. Proving themselves wrong, they died believers. When you said science is God, you're basically addressing sort of pantheism, which is the idea that no God exists, but what we should give that sort of honorific, because we tend to treat things like there is a God, is basically the concept of everything, not science, but everything. Anyway, but why my God? Jesus Christ of Nazareth, which, by the way, these people you cited did not believe in, because he's loving, he's merciful, he's kind, he's just. Show me the guy. Bring him to me. Let me see all that. He proved himself to be reliable by dying on the cross and then raising up from the dead, appearing to over 500 witnesses who saw Jesus risen from the dead, racing up. I know what he meant, but I like the idea that he showed up in a Formula One car. He's like, I have returned and I'm rad as fuck.
Oh my God. It's also, I love the claim that Jesus is just and God is just. I had an old high school friend call me a few years ago to debate religion, and that's kind of what a big core of her argument was that, God is justice. And it's like, oh, so you mean as millions of kids dying across the globe, a lot in a particular area of the globe right now, as kids go hungry in schools and people, don't have health care and natural disasters happen, that's just to you? Like, yeah. People commit fraud their entire lives and die facing no accountability, but there's justice. Okay.
Our God, justice, number one. Woo! Wow.
Just trust me, bro. There's justice.
Have you seen that Chinese guy who looks exactly like Elon Musk, and he does this? Wow.
Yeah.
I'm Elon Ma.
Yeah,
I love that guy. I love that guy. He's probably terrible because he loves Elon, but I love him. And
he looks just like Elon, though. It's very scary.
I want to protect him. Protect that man from Elon Musk. Don't let Elon get a hold of that man. And then I'm just going to run through these. The fact that you're begging is the good reason. The desperation is proof that there is one who has and owns your heart. So yield it to him. Okay, Goebbels. Jesus Christ. I want you to you want a reason to believe E in God, then you already know he exists. What?
I
If
don't.
you want a reason to believe in something people are claiming is true, you already know. That's some circular ass reasoning. We don't have to give you reason. Just surrender whatever you holding on to and let him enter your life. God has manifested himself in all of creation, so that man is without excuse. Well done, Melinda. We're going to get you into nice, we do give away some rewards on this show. You can win certain things. You've won typing lessons.
Why is God so weak that me having emotional baggage stops him from demonstrating himself?
What is good and what is reason? I just love that. What is a good reason to believe in God? What is good? What is reason? I get it. You listen to fucking Jordan Peterson. Well, what is good? What is reason? Because frankly, when you look into the paradigms of these things and you shift the substrate of the reason and the good, it's unclear why I haven't been able to get so much as a blowjob in 20 years. It's bloody terrible. Up yours, I said to my wife.
Yeah.
And finally, why do you want to believe in God so badly? I almost wanted to respond with, I'm going to go out on a limb and say, you don't know who the fuck you're talking to. What?
Also, just like, I don't understand how people get to that. Like, Christians are obviously like the most dominant religion in the US. If somebody doesn't believe in God, like, of course they would have an incentive. Like, people are legislating based on their religious beliefs. Like, I don't know. It's just what Christians, American evangelicals in particular, take that for granted so hard that they're just like the dominant class of people.
Yes. All right. If you want to have this show ad-free always, if you want to get to the extended show, and here are some of the cards we're going to be answering, Arden and I. Which one of us is most likely to rat me out if they were under pressure from the cops? We'll say each other out. If we were characters in a horror movie, who would get killed first? Most likely to let someone buy them a drink before mentioning they're in a relationship? Most likely to sleep their way to the top? Most likely to puke? You already did. You already slept your way to the top. Most likely to puke and rally? Most likely to have a secret body piercing or a tattoo? Most likely to have a secret sex tape? None of mine are secrets. That one's a fill in the blank. Most likely to sleep with a coworker? We maybe won't do that one. That's inappropriate for the job, I feel. Wait, you are sleeping with a coworker. I'm leaving it in.
That's true.
Most likely to masturbate right before getting a massage so they don't get awkwardly aroused. Hey, so here's the deal, Arden. Please come to the after show, but I think you have to be clocked out for it because I don't think I can ask a lot of these questions. You are allowed to reject them, but just go ahead and clock out. That's everybody else we don't have this problem with. Everybody, most of the other hosts are just pure, regular, good old-fashioned contractors. But in this scenario, Arden, thanks for joining. Y'all can find Arden Hart over on the line, youtube.com/Q&A line. You can go to Jimmy Snow, patreon.com/Jimmy Snow if you want to get to the extended show, patreon.com/call the line if you want to support the line. And you can listen to this killer song while we reset and prepare for the next portion. We're headed to the bonus show over on Patreon, but those of you who are just on Spotify or Apple or Audible, where the places that podcasts often are, I hope you have a good day, and may all of your endeavors be schmoobly dong. Is that right? No, but it's close.
Goodbye, sluts.
We do let the whole song play. All right, let me get my notes for what am I going to ask in the after show also. We'll do, how are you? What's up?
Good.
How's it going?
Things are going good. Sorry. I couldn't tell if you were actually asking because the audio is a little bit unbalanced, but
I'm getting the after show ready.
Okay.
Yeah.
So is this going live?
No.
Oh, okay.
Just getting the after show ready.
I'm ready for the after show. I'm good.
Well, I mean, yes, we are. This will play in the outro of the main show. This will go through the music finishing, and then we'll do the extended version, the extended show.
Okay.
After.
I'm prepared. I'm prepared and consenting.
I might ask, I'm just going to put finger guns and then say the phrase, "Hey, champ." That'll be good. It's going to make this after show really good.
Hey, champ.
We're just going to do the bad people cards. We've already done some of the promo stuff. I haven't even put them up yet, so we might do one or two more. Like, oh my goodness, did you see the episode of Jimmy Snow Has a Podcast I was on? It probably just happened or something. Go watch it. Okay, bye.
Such a bop.